Karl Pillemer, Fault Lines, Fractured Families and How to Mend Them. Family bonds are essential to our emotional well-being, but what happens when those bonds break? Fault Lines, Fractured Families and How to Mend Them, by Karl Pillemer unpacks the devastating effects of family estrangements and offers strategies for healing these rifts. In this summary, we'll explore the pain and challenges associated with broken attachments, the psychological impact of such losses, and various inspiring stories of reconciliation. By understanding the importance of building bridges with estranged family members and resolving conflicts, you'll be better equipped to navigate the complexities of such relationships and foster a healthier family environment.
The heartbreak of family estrangement. Family estrangements can be some of the most excruciating life experiences due to their long-lasting effects on the entire family. These separations highlight the significance of traditional family networks, despite modern changes. A severed family attachment can trigger intense grief, distress one's self-worth, and lead to chronic stress from the ambiguity of the situation. Moreover, these estrangements affect not only the main parties involved but also create collateral damage among other relatives, potentially lasting for generations. When faced with a family estrangement, such as being disowned by your parents or enduring a prolonged sibling feud, the emotional distress is immense, highlighting the enduring importance of traditional family networks. This pain often lingers for years, as demonstrated by an elderly woman who would still tear up at the mention of her decades-long estrangement from her sons. Our brains are hardwired to form attachments, particularly to our parents who inherently represent safety and comfort. When a family bond is abruptly severed, the resulting broken attachment can cause profound grief. This loss not only brings heartache but also prompts a devastating feeling of personal rejection. Being cast out by someone who should know you best can raise questions about your self-worth and even lead to depression, as found by psychologist George Slavic. Coping with family estrangements can prove even more challenging than grieving the death of a family member. While death usually provides a sense of closure, the ambiguity of estranged relationships leaves emotional wounds open to fester. The possibility of reconciliation and subsequent rejection, or the need to continually establish boundaries against invasive relatives, can lead to chronic stress. Moreover, the effects of family estrangement stretch beyond the primary parties involved. These conflicts often bring collateral damage to the rest of the family. Siblings may feel pressure to pick sides, grandparents might lose contact with their grandchildren, and young cousins could suddenly face barriers to their playful interactions. The damaging impacts of family estrangements have the potential to persist for generations. In a world where family dynamics continue to change and expand, estrangements underscore the undeniable significance of traditional family networks. Understanding the gravity of these situations and recognizing the lasting negative consequences on every family member involved is crucial to fostering healthier, more supportive relationships. Rebuilding fractured relationships. Experiencing a painful family rift can disintegrate treasured connections, but it doesn't have to be permanent. As time passes, tensions tend to subside, creating opportunities for restoring relationships and avoiding future regrets. Reconciliation can not only bring peace of mind, but it also opens the door to essential resources found within the family network, known as social capital. With the additional benefit of long life expectancies, individuals have ample time to resolve conflicts and spend cherished moments together. Cliff's tumultuous relationship with his brother, Harry, was no secret. After an escalated disagreement, he decided to sever ties and stop talking to Harry for 8 years. However, Cliff's perspective evolved as he witnessed friends and acquaintances deal with severe illnesses or pass away. He decided to reach out to Harry, hoping to rebuild their connection. Fortunately, Harry reciprocated with warmth, and although their relationship remained complicated, they now communicate regularly and meet at least twice per year. Reconciliation may seem daunting and dismissed by some as an unnecessary hassle, but the hidden benefits make such a decision worthwhile. For anyone seeking forgiveness and restoration of a fractured relationship, internal and personal reasons are often more compelling. Estrangement takes a toll on mental well-being, and bridging the gap can alleviate stress and provide closure. Knowing that an honest effort was made to mend a relationship assures oneself that nothing was left undone. Aside from achieving inner peace, reconciliation also mends the web of connections that might have been damaged due to past conflicts. Family members previously avoided due to the dispute can now be reconnected, and the relationships once cherished can prosper again. As part of this revived network, you can reap the benefits of social capital, the valuable resources and support from family members. These may include assistance in childcare, elder care, or even specialized expertise in various fields. Living in an era with increased life expectancies means that individuals can potentially experience several decades apart from their parents' homes. This extensive timeframe offers ample opportunity to overcome conflicts and mend relationships. With the familial resources in hand and the possibility of avoiding regrets, reconciliation proves to be a practical and heartfelt decision. In conclusion, estrangement doesn't have to be a lifelong condition, and rebuilding fractured relationships can bring profound benefits beyond the simple reconnection. The internal peace of overcoming past disputes and the shared resources found within restored family networks create compelling incentives for anyone considering reaching out to mend ties. Unraveling conflict for reconciliation. Direct your attention to a major unresolved disagreement from the past, and it is likely that those vivid memories remain strong within you. These conflicts, or volcanic events, tend to be the center of our rumination. The continuous mental replays can hinder chances of reconciliation since we become attached to our version of the events, blocking any potential for understanding other perspectives. To truly reconcile, we must let go of our narrative, analyze the conflict with a critical eye, and take responsibility for our part in it. Often, the root of conflict lies in deeper, underlying issues within the relationship and not just as isolated incidents. Reconciliation begins by examining our own story, becoming vulnerable, and allowing ourselves to accept different viewpoints. By doing so, we can be empowered to take action towards rebuilding damaged relationships. Embracing reconciliation. Reconciliation requires individuals to move past their differing recollections of the past and focus on building a shared future. While it is important to acknowledge personal truths, reconciliation doesn't demand complete agreement on past events. Instead, it involves accepting the potential for change and re-establishing connections. This process can be initiated through shared activities and interests, leading to deeper conversations and even long-awaited apologies once relationships have been re-established. Tony and Marcia, despite being sisters, have vastly different memories of their childhood. While such discrepancies are common, they often hinder reconciliation. Many expect their loved ones to acknowledge the reality of their experiences before rebuilding a relationship. However, pinning down a single, definitive version of the past proves elusive, leaving everyone waiting indefinitely for that acknowledgement. The heart of reconciliation lies in letting go of the past and constructing a shared future. It doesn't necessitate abandoning personal versions of past events, nor ignoring the pain caused. Instead, it demands accepting that complete agreement on what transpired may never be reached, and that it isn't a prerequisite to reconciling. In estrangement, relationships become trapped in the past, preventing growth and change. Reconciliation revolves around forming new, present-focused relationships that capitalize on enjoying each other's company rather than fixating on past events. A mother and daughter, for instance, reconnected through a shared weaving class. Their tumultuous relationship had kept them apart for years, but this common ground brought them together. Similarly, two elderly sisters found solace while playing slot machines, allowing them to be in each other's presence again. While these activities might seem superficial, they provide a stepping stone to rebuild connections that have been severed due to past conflicts. Finding joy in each other's company can create a foundation for more profound conversations about the past. In fact, numerous reconciliations have led to long-awaited apologies after re-establishing familial relationships. Acceptance over estrangement. In our world of picture-perfect family portrayals, the reality of complicated relationships might prompt us to distance ourselves from relatives who disappoint us. Cutting ties can feel natural, but it's important to consider the psychological ramifications of estrangement. Adjusting expectations and accepting loved ones for who they are can be healthier than resorting to cutting them out of our lives. However, abusive behavior need not be tolerated. Recognizing the difference between disparate values and abuse is crucial in maintaining relationships with our families. The idea of happy-go-lucky families is prevalent in our media, but real-life relatives often come with complex emotions and baggage. In the face of disappointments and shattered expectations, estrangement might seem like the only solution. However, it's vital to recognize the emotional consequences of such rifts. Instead of cutting ties, consider re-evaluating your expectations for family members and embracing who they are. Dina, for instance, severed connections with her unreliable brother when he refused to help care for their ailing mother. After a year apart, she realized that she could show acceptance and compassion towards him by consciously shifting her expectations. Acknowledging his faults allowed both parties to move forward, preserving the relationship that they had once cherished. That's not to say tolerating abusive or demeaning behavior is necessary. There's a difference between clashing personal values and harmful actions. In one case, grandparents cut all contact with their son and his wife after being asked to stay in a hotel following the birth of their first grandchild. The couple's expectation starkly contrasted their son's request, leading to a relationship breakdown. Re-examining their beliefs enabled the grandparents to reconnect with their son, wife, and new grandchild, preventing a lifetime of missed opportunities. By adjusting expectations, we can find acceptance and navigate difficult relationships without resorting to estrangement. Family ties hold powerful emotional significance and must be treated with care. Fostering understanding, communication, and empathy can help ensure the bond remains intact, even in the face of challenges that arise from diverse outlooks and values. Empowering ourselves and our family with these important tools will strengthen relationships and lead to a more harmonious existence. Boundaries enable reconciliation. Establishing and maintaining clear boundaries is essential for reconciliation with estranged family members. Therapy can assist with this process, helping you define your limits and communicate those effectively. As your family members test your boundaries, remain firm and assertive, which can ultimately lead to a more positive and healthy relationship. Picture this: you've put immense effort into rebuilding a relationship with your mother who had a history of volatility and verbal abuse. You reconsider your past experiences, adjust your expectations, and strive to create a new bond. However, a sudden outburst from her sends you back to square one. This fear of repeated destructive behavior hinders individuals from seeking reconciliation. The thought of reopening old wounds by rekindling connections seems risky. Although estrangement is uncomfortable, it offers a sense of security in avoiding potential hurt. These apprehensions are valid, as family members can often be unpredictable and emotionally damaging. Therefore, it's crucial to establish clear boundaries in relationships to foster successful reconciliation. A helpful starting point for creating boundaries is therapy. A skilled therapist not only assists in defining your personal boundaries, but also provides a solid foundation as you navigate towards mending relationships. Determine the minimum acceptable behavior from the relationship and clearly communicate it to your family. For example, if a parent has a history of verbal abuse, make it known that any attempts at reconciliation will be contingent upon maintaining respectful communication. Should they raise their voice, immediately disengage as a consequence. While a cordial relationship may fall short of the close and adoring bond you'd prefer with your parents, it remains an improvement from no relationship at all. Notably, setting your own boundaries can feel empowering. Once your conditions are conveyed, be prepared for your family members to test your limits. Keep reasserting your boundaries, as Sanjay did with his father. Despite being a doting grandparent, Sanjay's father had always been harsh and critical. Sanjay decided to reconcile with his father under the condition that the father refrain from unsolicited criticism. When provoking comments surfaced, Sanjay either left the room, disengaged, or firmly warned his father of impending departure should the negative behavior persist. Eventually, Sanjay's father took his son's demands seriously and adjusted his conduct. Sanjay's experience exemplifies that being steadfast in upholding boundaries is, in fact, an act of love. It allowed him to cultivate a relationship with his father. Embracing reconciliation. The journey to family reconciliation starts with an individual's decision, which comes in different forms, either a sudden moment of insight or a gradual process of contemplation. It is crucial to evaluate the relationship dynamics, establish reasonable expectations, and formulate an action plan to rebuild the connection. Regardless of the outcome, reaching out for reconciliation brings peace of mind and personal growth. A story of Arlen attending a Christmas Mass illustrates the power of a sudden, light bulb moment that ignites the pursuit of healing broken relationships. As he was learning about forgiveness that day, Arlen decided to reach out to his long-estranged brother, exemplifying the readiness to mend ties through such moments of clarity. The key takeaway is that only you know when you're prepared for reconciliation. In contrast to Arlen's experience, some people undergo a more gradual decision-making process. They find themselves reflecting upon the estrangement, weighing the pros and cons of re-establishing contact with a family member. This period of introspection is crucial, as it helps re-evaluate the relationship, one's role within it, and the possible outcomes of reconciliation. Keep in mind that rebuilding connections takes two willing parties. Prepare yourself for the possibility of an unfavorable response or even rejection. When deciding to reach out, craft a well-thought-out action plan, whether it involves writing a letter or meeting face-to-face. At this juncture, it's essential to clarify the desired extent of the renewed relationship and keep expectations realistic. Despite uncertainties and fears that come with seeking reconciliation, it is essential to remember the potential emotional rewards. Consulting supportive friends or a therapist can be invaluable in determining the best course of action. Ultimately, taking that leap towards rebuilding relationships brings peace of mind, knowing that you've made every effort to heal and grow, regardless of the outcome.
The journey towards reconciliation with estranged family members can be tough, but it is not impossible. In Fault Lines, Fractured Families, and How to Mend Them, Karl Pillemer sheds light on the importance of understanding and valuing traditional family networks. From examining personal stories, accepting different perspectives, adjusting expectations, to setting clear boundaries, there are many steps you can take to resolve family conflicts and reunite with your loved ones. By embracing these strategies and focusing on the present and future, you can mend fractured relationships, develop emotional resilience, and enjoy the emotional support that a united family brings. Remember that reconciliation is a choice, and when the time is right, it can lead to a more fulfilling and connected family life.